Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show. I'm Gary Mack.
And Rich Baxter over here. Hey, how you doing, Gary?
I'm doing good, Rich. How are you on this fine, sunny? I guess it's the summer, though. We haven't hit that official calendar mark yet.
Yeah, definitely feeling like summer. A lot of the ballparks, they're celebrating Father's Day today. So excuse me if I feel like I'm, in the moment with Father's Day today.
Is it today or next? I think it's next week.
It's actually
No?
next week, but some of the ballparks are celebrating it today because the teams are on the road. The Phillies are celebrating it at home. So I'm sort of in that holiday mood myself.
Okay.
For two
Okay. Well,
weekends in a row. Two.
hey, why not? We deserve it, right?
Why not?
And yeah, some of the ballparks are opening up. The Mets had 26,000 plus there Friday night. It sounded like 100,000 people. I think people wanted to get to the back to the ballpark and really cheer. It was really exciting. Just sitting at home and hearing the the cheering and just all the noise again. It was really incredible compared to last year when you heard literally nothing but some canned cheers. How about the Phillies? Are they opening up more?
Oh yeah, the Phillies eclipsed that with 36,000 plus yesterday, almost
Wow.
36,500 in to see the Yankees come to town. They wrap up the series today. Imagine they might have an equal amount of fans there because, as you said, people have been jonesing to get back to the stadium. They want to go for that ball game, but I was thinking this morning as I was thinking about that attendance with the way Canada and England are still closed down. They won't allow visitors into their countries from the U.S. Somebody's got to be wrong here, Gary. We got 36,000 people in Philly, 26,000 in New York, close one by one, next to one another. Maybe our English friends could weigh in on this for us this week.
Yeah, they must be doing something wrong over there because they've had some outbreaks after that we did not have. Who knows? Maybe it's the vaccination is different. I don't know. But yeah, they're having some problems over there. And as you said, Canada, I don't know what the deal is with them. The prime minister's traveling. He's in England, as a matter of fact, now for the big G7 summit. So he's leaving the country, and it's causing a lot of havoc. Toronto Blue Jays are playing in Buffalo. Buffalo, their farm team is playing in Trenton, I think. It's just it's crazy. The PGA tournament. Uh, uh, this would have been the weekend of the Canadian Open. They canceled that, and they're playing in South Carolina in an event. So it's all topsy turvy in the world of sports, and it's not going to help. I don't think it's you know well, they'll be looking long term, and they're not ready to expand yet. But how does it affect Montreal getting a franchise when this sort of thing is going on? But that's down the road. So maybe by then, Canada will open up. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, Rich. As you said, other cities are opening up, of the states, and these countries aren't doing the darn thing, and we don't know what the heck
Yeah,
what's going on.
even France is fully open. So I think you hit the nail on the head when you said they're not doing something right in those countries. Maybe they feel, I don't know. I don't know how they feel. It's just kind of weird is the best way to describe it. That's the way they seem. Sorry for that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy in a way when you think about it all. But you know,
And
I guess. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't feel that the pandemic is completely over because it's not. I did read story the other day. We've had more deaths worldwide in the first 6 months of this year than we had all of 2020 all over the world. So obviously, this pandemic is not over yet worldwide. Yes, we've been knocking it down here in the States, but it still exists. So if you're going out to these games and going to meet in public, like these big, large gatherings, you might be wise to still protect yourself with a mask, socially distant.
Yeah, I mean, uh, I could see the value behind it. Putting the mask on, keeping it. Look, if you feel like taking it off to breathe, then go ahead and do that. But maybe if you got it on for a little bit every hour you're at the ballpark or something, it'll be some sort of deterrent, some sort of help. Though I don't know, there are studies that say masks are no good anyway. That in fact they hurt more than they help. So it's so confusing, and I think that's part of the problem as well. People are so confused about everything that nobody knows what to do anymore. They told us masks were good or bad, and they told us we had to wear a mask. They're good. Now studies are somewhere in the middle. So I think that's what a problem with this um, pandemic, and
Yep.
it could be a problem with these countries.
Yep. And that's going to lead us into our first story of the week here. After we did our show last Sunday, Chicago Cubs Anthony Rizzo waiting for, quote, more data on COVID-19 vaccine. Chicago Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo said he understands the controversy surrounding his decision not to get the COVID-19 vaccine, but explained that he is taking some more time to see the data in all of it. So
Uh,
not not too surprising there, but the Cubs are supporting him.
well, and rightfully so. I mean, uh, I don't think you should force anybody to take it if they don't want to. He's a cancer survivor, so it's almost like what happened in my household. My wife's a cancer survivor, and he was leery about taking it as well. She checked with a number of doctors, and I'm sure he's done the same. Or he wants to do more data. He wants to see more data, and she decided to take it. But we don't know what's going to happen in the future with this thing. That is, they're finding it was safe for kids, and now they're finding that it's not safe for. There's, let me. They are finding some heart problems with some kids that take it from 16 to 24, I think. So, um, you know, it's something you got to be real careful with, and he doesn't want to screw himself up for the future, so he's not going to take it. And the Cubbies are right to back him. You don't want to start getting against your players and then have divisions in the team, and then it's not good.
Yeah, shortstop Javier Baez and Rizzo got together and talked about it. Baez says, if you want to call it, quote, we argued about it, but at the end of the day, we respect each other. Rizzo didn't seem to mind when the Cubs had 100% full attendance the other day at the stadium, where he launched a home run over the right field wall to tie the game in the sixth inning. The Cubs were trailing 5-4. So Rizzo taking advantage of that big crowd, as you said, Gary, to get them into it. Even though he's not vaccinated, he smashed a home run over the right field wall.
And yeah, I mean, and the bottom line is it's his decision. So, you know, we have to respect that, and we have to respect everybody's decision that doesn't agree uh, with the total total vaccination of everybody. Not everybody's going to agree with that, and I don't believe that you should force people to take the vaccine if they're against it. It's just my opinion, and we have to be careful of that we don't get to that point.
That's true. Don't believe in the vaccination passports. They've been talking about things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And different states don't either. I think Florida made it illegal for companies and organizations to demand a vaccination passport in air quotes. Um, but we'll see how this progresses. We're still in the month of June here, counting down the days to the real Father's Day. And you had a story that happened towards the tail end of our last podcast in the New York area. And I guess you got the whole deal on this story with Pete Alonso.
Well, we're cracking down on MLB wants to crack down, or they're sending out a message that they're gonna, and then they're gonna. I think they're just trying to scare the pitchers. They're going to crack down on illegal substances, and um, Pete Alonso is one that has got a different viewpoint on the whole thing. On a couple of matters regarding the baseball, he thinks it's I don't know if you want to call it a conspiracy theory, but he believes Major League Baseball the year that they fixed the ball depending upon the free agent class or the majority of it. He gives for an example. He gives the year that was it last year, 2 years ago, when all the pitches were up. Bauer and all of those guys, and who else? All the big Kershaw and everything. When they were coming up for free agency, Major League Baseball, it's his belief, juice the ball so there'd be a lot of home runs, and it would keep the salaries down because the pitchers they wouldn't dominate, they wouldn't have low ERAs. This year, there's a lot of shortstops and a lot of hitters going to be available, good, fine young stars, and the ball is deader, so there's not a lot of offense. I don't know if I buy into his theory, uh, but it's his theory as far as that. But uh, they're gonna MLB says they're gonna look into the using the illegal substances. They want to crack down on that, and you know, look, it just what it does show is that they don't know what's going on in the MLB. I mean, they cracked down on Houston for cheating, um, and then we see this, you know. Maybe because of this, they've been doing illegal substances a long time longer than they've been cheating with video, as far as we can tell. So they should have went after the pitchers first, and they probably would have never had the whole incident with Houston besmirched the game. They wouldn't have had to do that if illegal substances wasn't being used. But the shame of it is then everybody gets painted with a broad brush. Then is it Garrett Cole is cheating? Is it Jacob DeGrom? Is Trevor Bauer? Are they using illegal substances? There was a whole big hoopla here in New York because somebody put a video of Jacob DeGrom. I guess you can't fix your pants anymore in this world. He went like this and pulled up his pants, and they said, "Oh, look, he's juicing up the ball, or he's getting substance on his fingers or something." Check him then. Check him. Go ahead. Everybody says he's not using anything. His ball does not take any oddball,
Movement.
drops, yeah, movement or anything like that. So I don't know. I are there pitchers out there doing stuff? Of course there are. They've been doing it for ages. Whitey Ford and Elston Howard used to mark up. Elston Howard used to sharpen his shin guard, the part where it used to clip in the old shin guards, um, and he would sharpen that. So when he got a pitch from Whitey Ford, he could rub it against there, put a little cut in the ball because they didn't check the ball like they do now. They didn't. The ball hits the dirt, they throw it out of play. They didn't do that in the old days. So some of them balls would be marked up and scuffed up and all kinds of. Gaylord Perry's in the Hall of Fame, and he admitted to throwing a wet ball. I could go on, but that's Pete. Pete's got a point of view, and he's going to get it out there. And he says he's talked to other players, and they all feel the same way. So I don't know. I'm sure Aaron Nola's name got mentioned in this conversation as well.
Yeah, and I don't think, like you said, Pete Alonso wasn't really talking as much about as of the substances. He wasn't um, contesting that as much as he's contesting his theory that the MLB is doctoring the ball from the word go.
That's right.
In an attempt to limit the offense for certain players, bring the game down a little bit, so to speak. I don't know. We've heard this talk for the past couple years. I don't know if it's for that reason, but it's obvious to me that the MLB wants to sort of control things to the max. And if there's more home runs flying out than there should be, that they're going to investigate it and perhaps change the ball. So, I mean, it's all part of a good conversation. Interestingly enough, though, New York Mets management did not agree with Alonso's claim about the ball being manipulated for the benefit or non-benefit of the batters, the free agents. So when is Alonso a free agent anyway? Is it coming up soon?
No, I think he's got a couple more years. He's only in his third season.
Okay.
And he came up uh, like in May or June of their first year. So I don't even think I don't know how that counts. It counts towards
Free
his
agency.
time, his time, but it doesn't count the. He didn't get a full year, I don't believe. So I don't know. I think he's got a couple more years, but
Yeah,
he's got opinions.
I just looked it up. By the way, he's most similar in ages as his batting here, compared to Reese Hoskins, believe it or not, from the Phillies. So, they both sort of share a similar career, a similar base that they play, first base,
Mhm.
and most similar by ages right now. Reese Hoskins, Richie Sexton, if you remember him from the Chicago.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, earliest free agent for Alonso's 2025. So it's not like he's competing for that, contract this year. But of course, smacked 53 home runs his first season with the Mets, lit the world on fire with 120 RBIs. And of course, last season, I think you can throw that out the window. Um, you got a 40 game season or 60 game season, whatever it was last year, but it's largely forgettable, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you figure he roughly would have hit in the 30s last year at the pace, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh
So he's really not doing
so
bad this year. 10 home runs already, 31
yeah.
ribbies.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's on a good pace again. I don't know if he'll hit 53 again. That's tough. And that ball was juiced. And that those 2 years, 18 and 19, that ball was juiced. And so, but I mean, if you look at the guy, he's a big guy. He's going to hit a lot of home runs. Just I don't know if he's going to hit 53. That's all. A
Yeah.
lot of home runs. A lot of home runs. And
Well,
somebody that hit a home run, Rich,
mm-hmm.
but didn't get credit for it, was third baseman of the Pittsburgh Pirates, Brian Hayes, who returned from the 60-day injured list about a week ago. And he was playing pretty well for the Pirates when he got hurt. And he came back and had a good first inning. He shot a ball to the opposite field that barely cleared Clemente Wall and was narrowly tucked inside the right field foul pole. It was initially ruled his third home run in his seventh game of the season. However, he was unsure if it was going to have the distance to coming coming out of the box. So as he was sprinting up the first baseline, he stepped around first base instead of on it. The Dodgers caught the mistake, and when Walker Buehler got set to face Brian Reynolds in the next at bat, he threw over to first baseman Max Muncy for the 1-3 putout. He never stepped on first, didn't realize it, and lost a home run. That's your responsibility. The video confirmed the out, and he was not credited then with a home run. Oddly enough, though, Rich, another prospect, a Kansas City prospect, then number 7 prospect, Bobby Witt Jr., blasted a home run for Kansas City's AA affiliate, Northwest Arkansas, but the home plate umpire ruled he did not touch home plate. Bobby Witt Jr. thought he touched them all for his second homer of the game, but he didn't touch home. And this was even dumber, if I could say that, because he has this little dance or slide or step that he does across home plate, and he missed the home plate completely, and he got called out for it. And if I was his manager, I would tell him, if you ever do that dance again, your ass is going to be on the bench for the next game. It was just pure stupidity that, he could have just ran across home plate. Look, the other guy too, it's a question of stupidity, but I can almost see it with him. He's watching the ball, hoping it goes out and everything, and then is not paying any attention. But I'm reminded of the old Mets story on the '62 Mets. Remember how bad they were, and Casey Stengel, Marv Throneberry hit a ball to, I forget where it was, deep right center field, we'll say, and ran around the bases and got a triple. And I forget what the team was, but they appealed and he got called out for missing first base. So Casey Stengel comes running out to argue, and he's jumping up and down. The umpire says to him, Casey, forget it. Calm down. He missed first and second base. So it didn't matter where
Where they appealed.
Yeah, he missed them all. So that's a story. But here's something you don't see every day. They missed the base, and two prospects, one in the majors and one in the minors, but both of them missed the base, missed a base after a home run. But really, the minor league one was really the one that first caught my attention, and it's when you watch it, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Because the guy comes around, he was more interested in getting high fives and doing his stupid whatever slide step. I don't know what you'd even call it. I think the article said patented dance or something or other. Well, I would revoke the patent on that if I was his manager, and the organization as well. So um, that's that's one of the at least that's a happy well, it's not happy for them, but it's a fun story for us.
Yeah, they get so caught up in the moment, it's like they forget to uh, do what they're supposed to be doing, and
Right.
just a little minor detail touching the
And
bait.
there's a lot of that nowadays. They're all too busy with the bat toss or this, or some hand gesture when they get a hit. They all got to look in the dugout now and go, "Ooh, ooh, whatever the hell they do, and they're gonna step off a base to do something stupid like that, and they're gonna get tagged out. And I wouldn't want to go into the dugout to face some of the managers. Though I don't know, some of these managers today, they're not like the old time managers. But could you imagine missing home plate or missing first base and then having to go in to face Dallas Green
No.
or Bobby Valentine or Whitey Herzog or something? I don't think I'd want to do that. Not at all. Even no, thank you. None of them.
Yeah, it looked like the Pirates player was so into it that he was watching the home run and completely forgot about what he was doing. So, as you
Yeah.
said, kind of a bonehead move. Well, bonehead moves is not what you'll hear on our show, but you can go to our anchor.fm site over at anchor.fm/baseball talk radio show. If you're watching our show on the YouTube channel, we appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button for us. We're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. We're on our way. So we appreciate you guys checking in, watching the show. Leave us a little comment if you'd like on our baseball podcast site here. You can even support us. The center button right here, if you're watching us on YouTube, is our support page. You just go right to it. It's a pop-up, and it's very secure. So for up to 99 cents a month, as little as 99 cents, or if you want to be a big spender, you can go to $9.99 per month. And we'd appreciate your support for this show. And of course, Gary does his Mets musings, and I do Phillies Talk podcast. So, spread the love, so to speak. We need some more equipment, what you see here, and some stuff to improve the show. And Gary's always improving the video show. He does things that, he's learning each week to do better things. So we appreciate your support.
And you also don't forget our Patreon page, patreon.com/baseball talk. You can go and contribute to the show and become a supporter from there. And it helps us really to do some things better and provide a better product for you.
Yes, it does. And we've always been talking about maybe a spring training trip. So we get enough people on board and we have our listeners out there. We could do it, folks. You could
Yeah.
help us defray some of the costs of putting the better show together, something on the scene, so to speak. Patreon.com/baseball talk. And there you can join from 3 different levels, just like our site at Anchor. So check us out there, spread some love to the program, and subscribe to the show.
Radio. Do it today.
Well, some people have been doing card collecting, Gary, and I know I've been carrying some stories here each week on card collecting. with Target and Walmart pulling their cards from the shelves recently, within the last month, there's been an opportunity for the old mom and pop stores to come back into business. And in case you missed our last podcast or two, there was stories circulating around how literally, hordes of people were going into all the Targets, all the Walmarts, because those shops have disappeared. The mom and pop collecting coin shops, they don't exist anymore, by and large. But slowly but surely, around where I live, there's a collector store opened up again. They're having fun events, and they can use Facebook online to do some of their auctions and demonstrations. So, years ago, these shops would have given a left arm to do that, have the reach to go on a site like Facebook and broadcast, hey, this is what we're doing down here, to get people in. But so Target, out of that, they didn't want hordes of people swarming the store just for the cards, and they were clearing the shelves off, Gary. And it wasn't just a case of going in there looking at cards and things. They were just buying up every card, literally
Yeah.
sports card that was on the shelf. So a hot hobby is now spawning us back to the good old days with the mom and pop local stores. So check it out in your neighborhood. You might be surprised to see one's going to open up in your neighborhood soon.
I think baseball has to go, or the cards companies, I should say, they should go back to the old wax packs. I don't even, not even sure they sell them anymore. Everything is in bulk now. There's a fellow I watch on YouTube that is big on the cards, and uh, he he spends like thousands of dollars and trades and sells and whatnot. But as you say, they were buying everything in sight. And in Target and Walmart, they put together these special packages. They're the official card. They're Tops and they're Panini and they're whatever still other brands are still around. Um, um, but they're bigger packs. They're 48 card packs, or and these guys will buy cartons of this stuff. And I think now, the last time I watched a video was a few weeks ago, but they've gotten to the point where now you have to go to the counter, and sales are limited to I don't know what 2 boxes or something, um, because it was getting so crazy, and there would be fights and everything else. Um, but this is good that it's getting back to the old hobby store. We used to get them in a candy store. I don't know if people even know what a candy store is nowadays. A candy store used to be a store where you went in and you bought. In some instances, they would have loose penny candy in the back, or they'd have a rack of candy. And it would be they'd have a soda fountain there. You could get ice cream sundaes, or you could get an egg cream here in New York, or you could get an old fashioned Coke with the salsa and the water and the syrup, and they mixed it right in front of you. And they sold newspapers, and they sold maybe little tchotchkes here and there, and they would sell the latest trading cards. You'd have baseball and football, and I remember movies. They would have or TV series that were big. The James Bond movies. They'd have a set of cards that they would put out. One of the card companies, and you would get it, and on the back was a puzzle piece. It'd be a scene from the movie on the front, and the back was a puzzle piece, and you'd put it all together for the big puzzle. It was usually the logo of the movie or something. Or TV series. They had TV series cards. The Man from Uncle, I remember. Uh, um, Gee, what else? Well, mine's drawing a blank now, but they would have sets of cards,
Yeah.
and it all in this little uh candy store, we used to call it. And I don't know if what they call them in Philly or in Jersey, but we used to call them candy stores. And um and you get a cold soda or something like that. All of those kind of stores are gone now.
Yeah.
It was a candy store. Let me see. It was kind of a shrunken down 7-Eleven without all the extras. That's
Right.
that's one way to put it. And no alcohol and no food.
So
Uh,
you
you
had a,
know,
pretty fun place to go as a
it was
youngster.
a hangout. Yeah, it was a hangout. A kid. There was two of them went by my grammar school, and one was really tiny. It was like 4 seats he had a counter, and he uh, he had like a marble top to it. In those days they had the old marble tops,
Mhm.
easy to clean and everything. And he had like 4 seats, and very narrow. And his big he was closed by usually 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because when school let out, he would be busy. And 4 o'clock, 4:30, whatever, he would be closed because he would do no business at night. You know, some of them stayed open late. The one around the block from him would stay open late, and he would have the evening edition of the paper. Some of them used
Yeah.
to be an evening edition of the paper, of the Daily News, and all of the papers used to come out like 10 o'clock. And believe it or not, people would walk to the store. Yeah, boy, I'm really showing my age now. They'd walk
Kitties.
to the they walk to the store, maybe walk their dog, and that would be part of their routine. They would walk by the store. The truck would come by, throw the papers off. The owner of the store would come out and cut the rope that was, or the string, the bundle that was around the thing, and start selling papers. And that would be the late evening, early morning edition of the paper. And then it was an early morning edition too. They came out like it's 5 o'clock or something.
Wow.
People don't remember this stuff.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. As
know,
the years go on in this connected world, we're so connected. I think that's the problem. And I think I mentioned this before. I was in a newsroom years ago when they printed newspapers still. And
right,
there was a little
right.
teletype in the corner, and it constantly rattled off stories. And that's what the internet reminds me of today, because it's
Mhm.
constantly being updated with stories depending on where you go. Twitter, Facebook, you're getting a feed of, could be 90% malarkey, 10%
Yeah.
worth something. But that ticker tape was the same way, and it was no graphics. It was just a typewriter that continuously pumped out stories. So, it wasn't always in a connected world. And our younger listeners that listen to the show, they can't fathom this. That if they want to know something, they go right on the internet. The whole world is on the internet, but before it didn't exist. So,
Yeah, you
yeah,
had to wait, or you heard about it maybe on the radio or television.
it was a less
Um,
stressful world for sure years ago.
yes, but to get a fleshed out story was usually the next day, where the reporters were reporters in those days, and they would do their homework. They would track down the story and find out. Not like today when they put rumors on. And baseball's. No, the baseball writers put rumors about trades all the time, and sometimes it's just a whisper, and it never comes to pass. But um, it's a different competition now, and um, sometimes I miss the good old days. And you know, I like technology as much as the next guy, but it was uh, I don't know. I don't know if you ever go back to your old neighborhood and
Oh
find
yeah,
out, oh my God, how
sure.
did I live here? It's so crowded now. That's the thing I find when I go back. It is just so dense
Well,
now. Doesn't
I remember the days where you had a phone and the phone rang at home and it was connected to the wall or you had it on a desk. You picked it up. You didn't know who it was. There was a little suspense there. You didn't have a little device in your hand to say, Joe Schmo calling. You said, hello,
yeah.
how are you? It taught you a little thing about social communications. Nowadays, they look at a screen and they don't want to talk to you. They just click a button. But in the old days, you had to pick it up.
How true, how true.
But
And you used to have to get up to change the TV station.
yeah, you didn't have a million channels of
No.
Gunsmoke TV, and you
No,
had
we had five. We have five VHF stations. You had two where I was in New. I grew up in Queens, New York. We had channel 2, channel 4, channel 5, channel 7 and 9 and 11, and they were like 9, 11, and 5 were like the minor stations. 2, 4, and 7 were the ABC, CBS, and NBC. And then you would get channel 13, which was still is the public station, but it was on 13 was on VHF, what they called VHF, and then you could get other stations on UHF, but that was like if you could get a state tune in a station on UHF, it was like whoa, that was like another world you were tuning into.
like satellite
Um,
TV.
yeah, and most of the stations on the UHF anyway were in Spanish. So you didn't know what the heck was going on, but if you could tune it in, you tuned it in. People had certain antennas, and oh yes, we didn't have cable. We had what they called rabbit ears, or bunny ears, or that would go on the back of the set, and you'd adjust this to
See
get it
that, kids? No,
just
no cable
right.
bill.
No cable, and or you had a wire that went up to the roof to a big antenna if you were fortunate. Yeah, but and we listened to a lot of radio in those days. Now I can't listen anymore. I don't know what it is. I've become too acclimated to the new thing, the new
I
fancy
got
schmancy
I
stuff.
got the audio package for MLB this year, and I enjoy it. It's nice,
Mm-hmm.
and I've listened to hockey online and things like that. One thing I found out that it's super delayed on certain channels. A friend would text me,
Yeah.
"Yeah, here's the score." Oh,
Yeah.
they haven't scored yet where I've been listening. So
Yeah.
one of those things, but try it sometime. Listen to a game on the radio or online with the audio. But Gary, before we forget, get out of here without mentioning it, let's go through the standings real quick. National League first this time. We're usually always starting off with the American League. I don't know why, but we're National League guys. Take it
Well,
away.
the NL East, Rich, we've got my New York Mets are. I wish I had a cut of them. 32 and 24, holding a 4-game lead over your Philadelphia Phillies there, who are at the 500 mark. And the Mets are playing good baseball. And you know what? They're doing what they have to do. They're playing exceptionally well at home, 17 and 5, 15 and 19 on the road. They usually like to say, what is it? You play 500 on the road and 750 at home. Well, um, I think they're a little bit better than that at home, and away they're under 500. But holding on to a 4-game lead in their division. Of course, they played the least games, I believe, in baseball due to the pandemic. The first series, if you remember, got canceled, and they've had a ton of rain out, so they'll have a lot of double plays going, double headers going as the season progresses. But they're still holding in there now, and if they can get past this stretch with injuries, should be in good shape when the tough part of the schedule comes up. But as I said, 4 over Philly, hanging in there, 6 over Atlanta, 7 over Miami, 8.5 over Washington. And in the Central, we got the Cubbies and the Brewers, the surprising Brewers. Both are tied for first place over the 500 St. Louis Cardinals, who are 5 games back. Cincinnati is also 5 games back. They're at 500. And Pittsburgh, in a rebuilding year, obviously is at 13.5, and they are out of it. And then we come to the West Coast, Rich, and San Francisco holds a 2-game lead over the LA Dodgers and a 4-game lead over San Diego Padres. And Colorado and Arizona bring up the rear at 15.5 and 20.5. So, Rich, I think it's fair to say that the road to the World Series is gonna have to go through California one way or the other.
Yeah, numbers are written here. It's the most crucial 3 digits on this whole thing. And I'm not sure if my mouse is circling this or not on our YouTube feed, but the differential in run score is what I'm looking at. The Giants, the Dodgers, and the Padres. 74 for the San Francisco Giants, plus 89 for the Dodgers, and plus 63 for the Padres. The highest run differential totals in the major leagues. As you said, Gary, it's going to be a road through California to get anywhere, World Series included.
Yeah, because right now the wild card, if the season ended, the wild card I believe would be the Dodgers and San Diego Padres, and of course the Giants would win their division. So unless they get knocked off in one of the series there, it's you're gonna have to play out on a coast some games to get to the World Series. So these teams can't let up. How
That's
about that American League, Rich?
Yeah, the American League, we're looking at AL East, Tampa Bay, still holding a 41-24 record. Winners of their last 2. 78 run differential, plus 78. So that's California numbers there. Boston in second place, the American League East, plus 43. So they're not doing too bad either. Toronto keeping pace with them, and the Yankees still keeping in pace. So I think one of the most exciting divisions besides the NL West would be the AL East right now. Everybody's bunched up still. Skipping over to the AL Central, we have the Chicago White Sox with a great record, 7-3 in their last 10, won their 3 in a row, playing Detroit today as well.
And look at
They're,
that differential.
yeah, top in all of baseball, plus
Wow.
103, 25-11 at home. And as you said, there's that almost 500 record on the road for them. So Cleveland, 4.5 games out, still over 500 record winning percentage there. And out west, it's the Oakland A's with a nice lead on the Houston Astros, although that lead seems like it's getting a little shorter.
Yeah, 2 games. Look, the Angels are still in it. Seattle's still in it. Uh, they're not that bad off. 6 and 8 games out. Angels at 500, but those 2 teams are pretty good. They're real good, Oakland and Houston. So, and the White Sox just amazing. La Russa. It amazes me how we see it all the time. How a good manager. Nobody was picking Cleveland either. Cleveland wasn't going to be there. They got rid of Lindor. They lost Bauer a couple years ago. They got rid of Carrasco, and here they are, right in the middle of a race, 4.5 games back and over 500. So, kudos to those guys. They're terrific managers, and it's funny. A couple of weeks ago, remember we did the story on LaRussa. Was he losing the team? They were having all kinds of internal problems, and obviously they've righted the ship and got things going in the right direction because they're holding. They may have the third best record in baseball. So good on them.
Yeah, LaRussa's still in charge out there in Chicago. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as we get towards the hot stove. We'll be starting to talk about that, I'm sure, right around Father's Day, probably, and the weeks right after that, as we get to some sort of trade deadline here. And I'll have to read up on that because I know they're changing that almost daily. It used to be August 1st, July 31st.
Yeah, I don't know what year it is. I know what year it is. I don't know what they're doing this year. The draft used to be around this time, maybe maybe another week or so, and now I don't know when that is. And it's all different now, so we just have to wait and see.
Yep, we're going to have to read up on it, check it out for you as we're doing the show. And Gary, I just have one little quick story here that I have written down here. 29-year-old Cubs rookie has set a record. His name is Patrick Wisdom, and he's been playing some third base for the Cubs. He's hit 8 home runs in 10 games.
Wow.
Talk about a welcome to the big leagues to somebody that may not have made it, being 29 years old, getting to the big game and, making himself known. Great for Patrick Wisdom there, and kind of makes me want to tune into a little Cubby ball to see how he's doing.
Well, they'll be coming into Citi Field this week, so you can check out some, Mets Cubbies action. 4 games, Monday to Thursday. So if you want to watch Cubbies, that's where they'll be.
Cool.
Pretty incredible. 8 home runs in 10 games. That's
it's outstanding.
Rich, I've got some dates here. The MLB draft will be July 11th to the 13th. The trade deadline will be July 30th at 4 p.m.
Okay, perfect. So we got those dates in hand for you there, July 30th at 4 p.m. It's going to be I think there's going to be a lot of action this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of it'll be interesting. There's a lot of teams still in it. So, there's going to be a lot of buyers. Some of the sellers are gonna have a chance if they're smart and can do their business. Arizona, Colorado, maybe Detroit, though they're in a rebuilding state, so they may not be. Pirates might have a couple of guys. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the swaps are going to do. I tell you, we may see some of the Ferris swaps this year. Maybe.
Right, well,
being that a team may need something and the other team has it, and Mets will be looking for starting pitching probably.
They're definitely going to be buyers.
Yeah, they'll be buyers. They'll be looking for probably one more starter, unless they can get one of the young guys straightened out. Peterson is the guy. He's been struggling lately. But I'm sure the Phillies will be looking for everybody will be looking for starting pitching probably. And bullpen help, right?
Yep, they're going to need it. The Phillies are, although they have 3 walk-off wins in a row, 3-game winning streak. They're all walk-offs. So
Wow.
watch out.
That's the way to do it, right?
Yeah. All right. We appreciate everybody joining us for this show. Next week, I'll do some stats on the show from our listeners. We'll see where you're listening from, that sort of thing. I know people enjoy that. If you want to send an email to me or Gary, it's Rich at Baseball Talk Radio or Gary at baseballtalkradio.com. We're there for you. If you have a topic, something you want to talk about, send us an email. And Gary, we got a big show coming up next week.
Yeah, we're gonna have a round table with the boys from baseball and barbecue. Hopefully, we'll be able to get that in the can this week. I know you're gonna have your shot, your second vaccine shot. So if everything goes well, we'll be recording that, and hopefully, we're all keeping our fingers crossed for you, Rich.
Yeah, it's
So
going to be a great roundtable. If you have any
yep.
topics you want us to talk about, please send us that email. You can even get us on Twitter, send us a message. Gary's over at Mets Musings GM. I'm at Fightin' Phillies. That's without a G, FIGHTIN Phillies. That's my Twitter handle. You can send me a message through there. We'd love to hear your comments. Thanks for listening to this program, though.
Yes, and we'll see you next time on another edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show.